Hi everybody, welcome to the show. Alright, so today we are looking at terms.
We're talking about terms and why we believe every homeschooler should have terms in their school year, even if you are year-round homeschoolers like we are. And if you don't know what we're talking about when we talk about year-round or school term homeschooling, we have a video for you and you can find it up here.
There.
Be right there. And we'll explain that for you. So, before we get into why you should have terms,
What are terms, Amanda?
we're going to explain some of the options for terms. So, you can have quarters, which
Splits up your year into four.
Obviously, and if you're year-round homeschoolers, that would make it very easy because you would be doing three month quarters, so 4 3-month blocks. That's an option. Another option that people use are semesters. This is very common in high schools, and a semester is half of your school year, roughly.
And then each semester is then broken up into terms.
Yes, you can break each semester up into terms. That's very common, especially in high schools where we live. Your other options are just terms. A term would be any other unit of any other block of time that you'd like to make it. So you could have
shorter terms and longer terms.
You could have 5 terms, you could have 3 terms. They can be 10 weeks, 13 weeks, 11 weeks. It's up to you.
Yeah.
So terms is a more flexible wording.
It's a flexible term.
It's a flexible term. Terms are. Yes, they are. So we do 3 terms a year.
As homeschoolers, we start September to December, and then our second term is January to April, and then again from May until the end of August. And not every one of our terms is the same. They're all a little bit different.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about the 4 reasons that everybody should have terms in their homeschooling, and it's the 4 R's.
The 4 R's. At the end of a term, it gives you a chance to reflect. So you get a chance to look back and see what worked in your homeschooling that term. What didn't work, because guarantee there's going to be things that just didn't work, and gives you a chance to just take that into consideration as you're moving into your next term, and a chance to kind of stop and make changes if you need to.
Yeah. The next thing you need to do is regard. So you're going to look ahead. You're going to plan ahead and think about what you want to do coming up. So after reflecting, you might want to implement some changes, and that's your time to do that.
And it's also a great time to do some planning of things that are coming up. So maybe plan some field trips, make lists of library books that you are thinking your kids are going to be taking out. So just do some future planning for a smaller block of time.
Yeah.
More detailed planning.
So the next one is, it's a reset. It's time to stock up on your supplies. It's time to erase your whiteboards and your chalkboards and all that stuff, and get things ready for the next term coming up.
Yeah, and just make sure that you're ready and set to move on to your next term, what you are doing next couple of months. The 4th reason why you would like to have terms is because it gives you a chance to record. Now, a lot of places, provinces and states require you to do some kind of reporting or keep records, and at the end of a term, it's a great time to make sure that you have all those records kept and fill in where you might have missed. So then it's not overwhelming when you have to submit them on a certain date.
Yeah. You're not saving it all for the end of the year.
Yeah. And if you don't live in a place where you have to do that, for example, we live in Ontario, we don't have to report or record, we still like to make notes. So I like to make notes that help me in years to come when I might forget about things.
Yeah.
An example would be that I noticed this year in January we had like a really big lull. Coming off of Christmas, the excitement was just when we came back to homeschooling in January, it just kind of felt like blah.
It was also cold and a lot of indoor stuff.
And indoors, and so now I made a note to myself that next year in January to find something, an activity, an event, a unit, a novel, something that can just rejuvenate and bring a little more energy to our January. So
That's the 5th R, rejuvenate.
Just making some notes for yourself so that you can have a better homeschool year next year.
Yeah. So those are the 4 R's. We're going to be putting them on a t-shirt, and those will be for sale down there. No, I'm just kidding.
So how do you choose?
So how do you choose which term structure is the best for you?
Probably if you look at it, there's probably a term structure that just naturally fits with your family. For us as year-round homeschoolers, and with Stefan as working full-time as a teacher, the 3 terms kind of just worked out. So we did September until the end of December.
December I'm home for 2 weeks, so
the last 2 weeks he's home, and then in January when he goes back to work we start again.
Yeah.
And then when he's home during the summer, it changes our pace a little bit. So we have our summer term that runs from May, when all of our activities too start to die down, into the summer when he's home, and we do different things and our pace changes a little bit.
Yeah.
So that just kind of was our natural fit. But I have a couple friends that I know that have very different schedules and very different term options, because that's how their lives work.
Yeah, so some people that Amanda knows are farmers.
Yeah.
And so that means during the summer, they're very, very busy.
So their schedule goes from September to early April, and they use a couple of very short, more intense terms, because that's just how their life works. Because then after that they move on to working their fields for the summer, and that's part of their homeschooling.
Yeah, so and then you said some of the kids ran their own farm related businesses, which was
Yes.
also part of the homeschooling, right?
Some of the older ones one of them had he sold honey and was a beekeeper during the summer, so that was kind of an interesting, while they don't actually have an official school term, they have activities that the kids participate in over that break when the parents are working the fields. And,
Yeah.
I have another friend who follows the school term homeschooling style, so she homeschools from right after Labor Day, but she ends her year at the end of May, and so they have an extra long summer break, which works for her because her family takes off, and they do a lot of baseball during the summer. The kids have different extracurriculars, which works for them, and they do a lot of traveling during the summer. I know a homeschooler who lives down south. They are year-round homeschoolers and they use quarters, but they have shifted their homeschool year so it starts in June, and that way
It doesn't conflict with the public school system.
and because they live down south where it's really hot, they can actually be indoors when it's like really too hot to be outside, and they miss all the public school kids. So when the fall comes and it's quieter and cooler, that's when they start heading out to the parks and the museums and stuff like that. So that just is how they roll, and it works for them.
Because homeschoolers know they don't like to go to the museums and the science centers when all the public school kids are there, right?
No, because it's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And homeschoolers realize how crazy it is. We hope you guys see why terms are important, and that you can find a way to implement some sort of term structure to your homeschool, because it'll really help you make your homeschooling life a little bit easier, taking a couple days just to move on and look back, move on, and
Flow better, work better. Remember the 4 R's?
for ours.
What are the 4 R's, Amanda? Reflect, regard, reset, and record. And we'd love to hear what term structure you use in your homeschooling, so you can let us know in the comments below.
We hope that you guys found this video to be educational, and if you like what we're putting out and what we're making and the content that we create, I hope that you guys will subscribe and click the bell so that you can get notifications for our latest videos. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
And we have a website too.
Website too, yeah.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you like what you saw, please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get notifications when we upload our latest videos.
Give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave us a comment. We'll see you next week for more activities, adventures, and lifelong learning.
Bye!